Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is LeVitch and you're watching the deluxe content. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how I found a house as a Persian LGBT refugee in Turkey. Let's get into it. All the refugees here face the same problem, but your problems are like way more complicated than others because not only you're Persian, but also you are an LGBTQ person. The two most sensitive things were Turkish people. If I'm being honest, in refugee category, these two things are the worst ones. And you may ask why, and let me tell you. Many Persian refugees that came before me decided to ruin our reputation, and I always wondered what someone could do that make an entire community be infamous as this. Fortunately, I had a friend here who worked as a real estate agent, and I got to ask her why. And she said the most frustrating things ever. Like, you Persian people talk loud, y'all are always fighting, you listen to bad music. And honestly, when I found out the reason, I was gagged, like literally. But hey, every community has bad people as much as good people. And also, it's not nice to put everyone under one category because of a single person's behavior. But what we can do, it happened, unfortunately. You may wonder, why did I need to move in the first place? Immigration office puts a lot of pressure on you to register your address as soon as possible. The last time I went to do my monthly signature, they literally told me you have to do it as soon as possible or you will have to leave the country. The problem was we were living with one of my friends, which all the documents of the house was under the name of his partner. And unfortunately, he got spotted for working without a work permission. And he was arrested, sent to refugee camps, and at the end, he was forced to leave the city. We couldn't reach him in the proper way, and he couldn't get permission to come here and do the paperwork that was needed for me. Basically, the hardest thing for you to do in here as a refugee is to find a house. And trust me when I say that.
It's even hard to talk about.
Because there are a lot of things that can change everything in a blink of an eye. The first thing that they ask you when you call them to get information about a house is that where are you from? Let's just say they don't get along with Persian people. That's the first thing that determines whether you're getting a house or not. The second thing that they ask you is that how many people are going to be there? How many girls, how many boys? And usually they won't let you rent the house if you're more than two. And when you say we are two, they expect you to say two girls or at last one girl and one boy. But God forbid if you say you're two boys. They will immediately say no without any hesitation. Let's just say they accepted your conditions. We came to believe when they accept these conditions, there are two problems ahead of us. One being the house really bad, and two, the price being so high. And I do not kid you when I say we've been looking for a good house for 3 weeks. And each time we got to visit one, as I said, one of those problems, if not both, were in effect. Oh my god, those houses were bad. Like, I remember one, and oh god, I went to the bathroom, all the bathroom was covered in black mold. The walls were dirty. The doors were making a ton of noises. You had sewer water leaking from your pipes. But not under the ground, not on the wall.
It was above your head.
Especially in your bedroom where you put your bed. Like, girl, I would definitely get all the STDs if I happen to be in contact with that leaking water. The second thing that always bothered me when we visited houses was the way that house was built. Honestly, some of them were so strange. For example, my current house. I had two options. One was that I put the fridge in my bedroom, which was impossible because let's just say it starts to play its own symphony after 9 p.m. And you may ask why your fridge is making noises, because obviously we couldn't afford a new one. And the second way, which I chose, to place my fridge was in the kitchen. And now I have this narrow passage from the living room to the kitchen. Like, the moment I open the door, I have to like completely tilt to this side to cross the passage that the fridge made with the cabinets. The way that these houses are architectured is insane. I remember 2 houses that we got to visit. They were iconic. The first one that we went to visit didn't have a bathroom. And you may ask, where would you do your business then? And I would say, anywhere you want, honey.
But not in the house.
Like, I don't know, if I wanted to urinate, I would just go from store to store and be like, I'm sorry to bother you, but can I use your bathroom?
Because my house doesn't have one.
And the second house we had to visit had no windows. Like, it basically felt like you were living in a giant cardboard. No ventilation, no natural light source. And ooh, honey, when she opened the door, the stench of dead mice kicked me in my bells. These were the problems about the houses themselves. And the second problem was the houses that were super duper expensive. They usually had better designs and better hygiene situations, but they were super overpriced. So with all that being said, I had 3 weeks of nightmare going on. And finally we visited a house that was in a good condition and wasn't overpriced. The walls were just painted, the windows was replaced, everything looked good. And we looked at the guy and we said, we want this house. And he went to call the landlord. And in that moment, I felt a beautiful release in my heart. I said to myself, finally, this nightmare is over. I cannot believe we found a house. And while I was doing that, I was super happy, the guy came back. And he said, I'm sorry, this place was rented yesterday. And they forgot to take the advertisement down. And funny enough, after he said that, my diarrhea kicked in.
Well...
And yes, I was walking home with all the disappointment I could ever have in my entire life. And when I was walking home, I saw my previous landlord. Her name is Hajar, but we call her Abla, which means sister in Turkish. She saw that I was super upset. She asked for the reason. Luckily, when we were living in one of the suites of her apartment, we made friends with her. Since we lived in her apartment for 6 months, she knew that we mean no harm and we are good tenants. And she happened to have a brother who owns a real estate. We went there and we talked about it, and they were like, yeah, we know that nobody is willing to have Persian LGBT people as tenants. And miraculously, they found a house for me. At first, the landlord wasn't accepting of it, but they managed to convince him. But only for her to become our guardian, which kindly enough she accepted. But we had 2 problems. First, that we didn't have enough money for it. We had to sell some of our shoes, my drawings, my songs. We even had to clean some apartments. We washed the dishes, we moved furnitures, I did gardening. We did everything that you can imagine. And finally, we got the money. Second, subscriptions of the house. We had to open the subscriptions for water, for electricity, for gas, and for internet, which almost all of them were done after spending a lot of time and money. And when I say almost, it's because of the water. You have to gather all of your documents and go to a place called Mukhtar. And there they will sign your documents and send them to the water supply companies. But unfortunately, our Mukhtar wasn't that kind. And he said, I'm not gonna sign these documents until you register your address in immigration office. Which by that time, it would take almost a month for you to successfully get an appointment. And here we are right now. Besides the love story that my fridge and my cabinets are having, this house is in a nice shape. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, this was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed hearing this crazy story. If you liked the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you think about the whole video and the whole story. And if you want to see my further videos, please subscribe to my channel. This is LeVitch. See you next time.